What's up, everybody? It is your boy SP with the Ring Rundown, and we've got a turtle-bration of an interview today. We've got Edward Kraatz II, MC Golden Voice, and Johnny Huang. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good.
Doing awesome,
great.
Let's see. We just celebrated the 35th anniversary of the original Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah.
What are your reactions to seeing how it's grown over the years?
So they're going to let me lead, and I'm going to pass the mic. I could have a ton to say, but let me say when we first started and had the opportunity from the record label, they were like, they liked our demo, but they had a project on the table that they needed music for right away. And they asked me, have you ever heard of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I said, I'm familiar with the comic book and I know the cartoon. He said, well, this is going to be a live action film and we need a song for it. I was like, I know a little bit about it. And they were like, listen, give us something, what you think you have. The A&R person saw a screening, called me later that evening and gave me the rundown. And I just vibed off of what he gave me and the energy of what I knew from the comic books and from the cartoons. And my biggest thing was, I know it was a kids movie, but I wasn't gonna wrap it down to kids. I was just gonna let it flow. So I'm an old school rapper from the Bronx in the early hip hop days. And I had no idea how big it was going to be, but it ended up being like through the roof. And it's been a blessing to be an ambassador for the Tmnt.
That's really great to hear. Now, where did Partners in Crime, where did that name originate from?
So, I mean, unofficially or officially, I'm the Leonardo of the band. But my partner, Keymaster Snow, and there was another MC who had started with us in Syracuse. So the idea is that's a very old term that just means people who stick really close through thick and thin, the partners in crime. But I didn't want the traditional crime connotation with it. So actually crime stands for keeping rhythm, your motivating energy. Because I'm for positive stuff. You can be tight, and ready to do work against any issues or problems as friends, but you can do that together and you can do it in a way that helps everybody. Yeah.
So now, if Partners in Crime, since we are a wrestling podcast, if Partners in Crime was a wrestling faction, what would your look be?
If I was a wrestling faction, okay,
yes.
I like that. So the video that I'm hoping to release soon for us is I have a detective noir kind of vibe. So you'd see me in the vest or any of that old school trench coat, maybe even, and I'd be rocking a samurai sword on the back.
Nice. So that would kind of be like your overall look, your entrance.
100%.
Would you come out rapping to Turtle Power, or would you create like an original song for your entrance music?
So I'm open to even doing that now. Like I said, I know they have the TMNT action figures that are wrestling themed. Mm-hmm. I'm open to rocking at a wrestling show anytime. And what is my man's name? Justin Call of Straight Band, I forgot, but he played guitar on Turtle Power XXL, which is out now, a brand new version of it. And he and their band they do wrestling stuff all the time. They do music for the wrestling appearances.
Oh, that's really awesome.
So he played guitar for us. My co-producer reached out to him. He's a Turtle fan, huge. He's like, yeah, I'll play guitar on it. And he's awesome. So it's on the Turtle Power XXL. You'll hear him.
That's really, really awesome to hear. And that would, I think, be a great scene to watch, come out being a fan. So
I love it.
John Cena, if you happen to watch this, holler at my man MC Golden Voice, all right?
Hey, you come back to me later. Talk to them and we'll tell you about the John Cena.
All right, we're going to pass it on over to Edward right now.
Awesome.
So obviously, same question, 35 years, what's your reaction to seeing the fandom growing?
I mean, I love it. Just like he said, when the movie came out, we were all in the theaters. Back then, you couldn't get, early seating, so everybody's like 1 million people in line. The movie ends, they start rolling the credit, they start playing Turtle Power. Me and my buddies were like, oh my gosh, this song is awesome, and it's all like gritty and stuff. And, the movie, it just fit the movie perfect. And then you fast forward, and now I've had the chance to work with him and do some Comic-Cons and some shows with him and stuff like that. Had the chance to work with Johnny and meet him, and actually meet Kevin Eastman and all that stuff, and watching, like it hasn't slowed down, right? Because it just taps into the
Keeps
kids,
growing.
that taps into the parents, that taps back into the kids, and then the beauty of it, of course, they dropped The Last Ronin, and then all of the original fans that were fans of the black and white comics with the red bandanas and stuff, they just lost their minds over it. They're like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So just it was never waning, but if you thought it couldn't get any better, all of a sudden, boom, bestseller, right?
It's almost kind of like
it's bestseller
constantly
nationwide.
revamping it just to get more outreach and more fan reaction.
Yeah. So and as a fan, because I tell people all the time, the biggest thing about drawing comics is I'm a fan, so it's not hard to do. So it just feeds into that. So it feeds my own fandom, to be able to work on that. That's my take on that, though.
So going back to the wrestling thing, if you yourself could create an original turtle character based off of you, what would the name be and what would the accessories be?
What would the name be?
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys could chime in. I don't.
I'm trying to keep the.
Yeah. I don't know, but you always see the wrestlers and they've got like the trash can lids and stuff like that. Well, it's Turtles, sewer, something like that. But I think like I'd have a trash can, but it'd be fashioned like an art palette or something. So
what about like a trash can lid in the shape of like a pizza box or something?
Oh, there you got that too.
like
You got
that.
that too.
I like
I mean,
that.
my guy would have to have some props though. He would have like an eraser or something.
I like that. Maybe something with Eek. Eek the Freak.
Yeah,
Something
there you go. There you go.
Something,
Eek
and
the
with
Freak,
the
I like
Eek
it.
Nation behind you.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
That's good.
Totally.
Like I did. I'll sell it to you later.
He's gonna talk.
I
later.
like
They're
it.
gonna
Yeah,
talk.
that works.
Well, I think that would be a really interesting, I don't know, maybe like MC Golden Voice said, just the mashup that they're doing with Turtles and
It's fun.
and wrestling and stuff like that. Maybe a comic line down the road or something
we
like
like
that.
that. We like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, let's go ahead and pass it on now to Johnny.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, again, same question to you. Your reaction to 35 years and even 40 years with the original
Right,
comic
1985. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start off with this big shout out to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. If it wasn't for those two gentlemen, I don't think any of us would be sitting here having this conversation.
Really
so,
great.
they're good friends of ours. We've done, oh my gosh, dozens of conventions together, and again, Kevin's one of the nicest guys in the industry. But I'm so glad they had that, what Bob Ross would say, a happy little accident that turned into a worldwide sensation. And obviously, what GV and Partners in Crime have done for the original movie really set the tone and set the bar so high for like the fandom. So every time they reboot the Turtles, I love it. And but I always have my favorite. But I enjoy all of them. There's some hardcore original Tmnt 1, 2 fans that that shun like all the new stuff. I'm not so much on that camp. I like them all, but yes, of course, the original is the first two are my favorites. But as a Ninja Turtle fan, my first introduction to them was the 80s cartoon, the 87 cartoons, and I got introduced to the pre-cartoon, the darker comics later as I became an adult, and I was like, wow, this is great. They killed Shredder, it was awesome, But yeah, the movies set the tone, and when I was a kid, my mom asked me, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up, and as a traditional Asian family, doctor, lawyer, something. I was like a Ninja Turtle, and being the black sheep of my family. I mean, it eventually happened, and
It worked out for you.
it worked out, and I met Partners in Crime, Vanilla Ice team, and we all met, over a decade ago for this like Ninja Turtle reunion '90s themed party, and then we all connected and it blew up on its own, and I'm just so grateful and humbled to be part of, officially, unofficially in the Turtle universe with these people. So I'm loving it. I mean, I'm just living my, I'm a 40-something grown man, but, living my 10-year-old, child dream. So can't ask for more than that.
So you mentioned growing up to being a Ninja Turtle. A lot
yeah.
of people don't know this, but you are actually a Ninja Turtle cosplayer dressing
Yes.
up as Michelangelo.
Yes.
So was that essentially the inspiration for you to don the turtle shell?
So I always, it was a bunch of I don't want to say non-planned accidents, just right place, right time, and seizing the opportunity. So when I met Kevin Eastman, Vanilla Ice, Partners in Crime, for this party, that really sparked the beginning of this Turtle Power tour, the I Love the '90s tour. So I've never cosplayed in my life until I put on the turtle suit, and it was just the right place, right time. They were looking for a guy with martial arts experience that fit the size and build of me, and I was like, "All right, I'll do it," And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, living my dream!" And then we just got more bookings, more things together. It started out with Kevin Eastman, Partners in Crime, Ernie Reyes Jr. And then
Judith.
Yeah, Judith, and I mean, there's and the one of the original suit makers that helped us make the suits for this party, Daniel Bravo, made my original suits, and and since then we've had over like 25 plus suits we worn for different concerts, performances, music videos. So I just been lucky and fortunate to be the Michelangelo for all the music videos from 2014 and up. So it's what an honor, living, breathing Ninja Turtle stuff till current, But I had I was thinking about your next question because I got a head start,
I've got one more before
Sure,
that, though.
sure.
If you yourself could accompany any professional wrestler, past or present, to the ring as Michelangelo, who would that be? And would you want to be involved in the match?
Yes to all of those. Yes, of course. Listen, I mean, I'm so down. I'm so down.
That'd be awesome.
Man, that's a tough one because there's so many, 80s and 90s wrestling legends I would love to do that with. But I will admit that John Cena became top of the list when we watched him in Jackpot doing Turtle Power while I was beating up bad guys. And I'm like, how can you beat that? So, I mean, with that being said, I think he would be on the top of the list for sure. John Cena,
Since it's his final run tour.
Oh my gosh, yeah, John Cena. We need to do a Partners in Crime, Michelangelo collab. That's what we need to do.
Dr. Thugonomics,
Yeah.
MC Golden Voice.
Oh, yeah, and I think my wrestling character will be the Ronin.
The Ronin.
Paying homage
it.
to the last Ronin,
Like
right?
that.
And then I'll be wielding all 4 weapons, just and they won't see what's happening. They get hit by John Cena, because they can't see him.
Yeah,
and then
right.
they get hit with some really lightning quick ninja moves, But we will keep it fun. I think that's a collab that needs to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
All right, before we end, favorite turtle? Edward.
Me?
Yes.
Leo.
Leo? MC Golden Voice?
I'm gonna say I always it's Leo Raph, but I'm gonna go with the attitude. I'm gonna say Raph today.
And Johnny.
Well, that's a no-brainer. Well, I'm gonna comment on GV's real quick. I think the secret reason why he picks Raph is not only the attitude, but the first 3 letters of Raph is R-A-P.
Oh, I
so
like that. I like that.
so I'm just chiming in my 2 cents. So I don't want to steal that. So listen, Michelangelo, the party dude, that's my default mode all the time. And then when I come to places like this, I try to keep professional. And then when the fans
keep it
come
mellow
in,
and chill.
and then all of a sudden Mikey comes out. It just happens default. So
Yeah, I always
Michelangelo,
I
yeah.
always tell people, like, my favorite turtle depends on the day of the week.
Right.
So it's like, as I get closer to Friday, it's probably Mikey, right? But it might start off Monday's Wrath, so it just kind of evolves through the week like that, So
I like that. If I can say before we go, 2 things that you mentioned there. I think one of the greatest fun things about the Ninja Turtles, sort of like what Ed was alluding to, is that they hit, all the characters of the Turtles hit certain emotions and type of friends that we all know by their personalities. We all know someone with each of those personalities, and as the generations change, the personalities don't. We all know friends that are kind of a comic and always like to cut up. We know one who's kind of really serious or has some anger management issues. We know a guy who's kind of the leader, who will always take that role. And you have the smart guys. And I love
Chicks
that
dig nerds.
chicks dig nerds
man.
as brothers, that they have each other's back. We spoke earlier. I didn't get to say it. Johnny mentioned the one of the recent highlights again was John Cena in the movie Jackpot with Aquafina. He does his whole character as a bodyguard. He is a huge Ninja Turtle fan. You're talking wrestling, so you can't miss it. If you haven't seen Jackpot, go pull it up and stream it. But he does a whole thing with my song Turtle Power. He early on he does some of the lyrics, but when the bad guys have him and he's all tied up in a chair, he needs a motivation. So everybody has a song that'll help you either work out or do something you need to do. So he went to a song that the bad guys were going to get rid of him. And he's like, you know that? I'm going for the turtle power. And he starts rapping the song and starts beating the bad guys. You know, as an old school rapper from the Bronx, to have your song featured in a fight scene and with John Cena, it doesn't get better. So with wrestling and all that, it's been an awesome ride. The band is Downstate. With Justin Call played guitar on Turtle Power XXL. That's our new one. I got new music coming out, by the way, by this summer into the fall. I've got some videos coming out. Find me on Instagram primarily, Facebook a little bit, X a little bit, but YouTube and Instagram. So, but thank y'all so much.
Thank you to our
The
guests,
Absolutely.
Edward Kraatz, MC Golden Voice, and Johnny Huang. Until next time, this is SP.
Thanks, guys.
Cowabunga.
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 Heck yeah.